Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for this update from your coronavirus headquarters. I'm Tyler Jobe. White House and congressional negotiators have reached a deal on a nearly $500 billion stimulus package to boost small businesses. The last sticking points involved how much money to include for coronavirus testing and how it should be spent. Skylar Henry has more details from the White House.
Democratic leaders say they reached a compromise with the White House on a nearly $500 billion stimulus package.
Staff was up all night writing. There are still a few more I's to dot and T's to cross, but we have a deal, and I believe we'll pass it today.
The bill will likely include $310 billion in additional funds for the Paycheck Protection Program. $125 billion of that will be reserved for rural and minority-led businesses. It also provides $75 billion for hospitals and $25 billion for COVID-19 testing. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says the final sticking point was the money for testing.
You need a significant federal involvement. You need a national strategy, and the president and Mnuchin and Meadows agreed to that, to their credit, and that will be in the proposal.
The FDA announced it's authorizing a new test that will allow people to do a swab at home and mail it to the lab.
The White House says there are enough tests available right now for governors to start phase one of reopening their economies,
if they meet the other criteria of 14 days of reduced cases and sufficient hospital capacity to prepare for any eventuality that may occur.
The president also announced via Twitter last night that in order to protect American jobs, he's suspending immigration to the U.S.
He's going to look at how he can protect Americans both economically and protect their health. And so this is a temporary issue, just like the prior bans were temporary, and we're doing it to keep the American people safe.
Immigration and travel have already been restricted to control the coronavirus. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
President Trump suspended new visa applications on March 20th, and the president has repeatedly said his travel ban from China has saved lives. Well, in Minnesota, there are now more than 2,500 positive coronavirus cases and at least 160 deaths. No new cases are being reported in Winona County at this time. In Iowa, 44 cases are being reported in Allamuckie County, and there are 7 in Winnebago County. The entire state now has more than 3,600 people who have tested positive. That's an increase of 482 cases since yesterday. 83 people have died. Wisconsin Department of Health Services Secretary Andrea Palm said yesterday there were no signs yet of a surge in cases from the election as some feared, but there are 7 people who appear to have contracted the coronavirus through activities related to the April 7th election in Wisconsin. That's according to Milwaukee's health commissioner. 6 of the cases involve Milwaukee voters and 1 is a Milwaukee poll worker. Officials hope to have additional information on the cases by the end of the week. Taking a look at the latest numbers in Wisconsin now, over 4,500 people have tested positive for the coronavirus, and 234 people in the state have died. In area counties, there are no new cases of the virus. Here in La Crosse, there hasn't been a new case reported in more than a week. In addition, 23 of the 26 people who have tested positive in La Crosse County have recovered. County Health Director Jen Rumbalski cautions that case numbers only tell part of the story.
Prevention is not always easily seen and understood, but I can assure you that there are reasons why we have low cases, and that if we allow travel to open back up, we would be at great risk, I believe, of increasing cases in large numbers.
Rumbalski says La Crosse County, like the rest of the state, is going to be increasing testing this week, so they expect to see more cases. This increased focus on testing in Wisconsin is part of Governor Evers' Badger Bounce Back Plan. It outlines criteria for the state to be able to reopen its economy in phases and includes steps to make sure workers and businesses are prepared to reopen as soon as it is safe to do so. Wisconsin does not currently meet the criteria the White House established to start reopening the state. As part of the plan, state officials have a goal of 85,000 tests per week and expanded contact tracing. Governor Evers said in a statement in part, quote, "I am excited and hopeful about this plan. While being safe at home continues to be important, this plan is an all-out attack on the virus, and it begins the process of preparing our businesses and our workforce for the important planning that will result in the safe and logical reopening of our economy," end quote. The WIAA has voted to cancel 2020 spring competitions and tournaments. The organization announced the change within the past half hour. That includes the WIAA State Track and Field Championships that were scheduled for early June in La Crosse. Thank you for joining us for this coronavirus update. You can always get the latest anytime on our website, news8000.com, or download our mobile app. We hope you join us tonight at 5, 6, and 10.